Um, Daniel Lee says, is there any threat of guys like Berger and Bettingham going Kolpak these days? No, because there is no Kolpak anymore. Kolpak is gone. England exited the European Union. And that was the end of Kolpak. So Bettingham had a ancestral visa. I don't know how he had that or how that all works, but he had that when he played in the UK. So there are still other visas that you can get and everything else. So you know, it's funny, Daniel. You say that that's great for cricket, but it's probably not, right? Because that means there's a lot more professional cricketers who will make less money now. You know, there are lots of there are lots of people who just won't get paid as much. And if you think it's great for international cricket, that's fair. I think, you know, it will keep more South Africans around. However, some of them will still leave. They could still go to New Zealand if they want to. You know, they could still go to Ireland in many cases and do that. There'll be other options for them, plus the franchise circuit. So I don't really think that the Brexit thing is going to massively help international cricket. What would help international cricket would be something more along the lines of India and South Africa are playing each other, and South Africa will get all the rights to this series. So they'll get all the TV rights. Now, it's an away series. They won't get as much as normal, and then they won't get anything for 4 years, all right? But when they go to India, they won't get a slice of those rights. Whereas actually the best way to actually help cricket would be for, you know, it would be impossible to say that South Africa, Sri Lanka, West Indies, Pakistan, New Zealand, Ireland, Kenya, Zimbabwe, you could haven't also helped grow cricket. And yet, because of the way these systems have done, South Africa can't really afford to play their domestic players enough to keep them there regularly. There's always going to be other places that they can go. Dane Pete and a whole host of really talented South Africans are overplaying minor league cricket in America. I know Dane Pete is hopefully coming back. And then we'll have something from that point of view. But you then got New Zealand. There's also, you know, there's other options out there for South African cricketers. There's Namibia now. As I said, there's franchise options. If you look at the history of South Africa, New Zealand, West Indies cricketers, they've always had to go where the money is because there is no money at home. And that goes back hundreds of years in cricket. And Kolpak was just one loophole, right? There will be others, and there'll be other leagues, and there'll be other places. And you know, if you're a young South African cricketer now, and your girlfriend's American, or you can, you know, Major League Cricket wants to bring you over, you know, what were they paying? 200 grand, 200 grand a year, I think, to some of those players. If you said to Andrew Berger right now, if let's say he doesn't make it in the IPL, and you say well, you can get 200 grand a year for the next couple of years, and you could live in, I don't know, where will the next major league team be? Morrisville or I don't know, Seattle, California, whatever. They're probably going to take that, right? And they're going to get coaching opportunities off the back of that, and you know they'll be part of a startup company in that kind of way, and they'll always be able to move back home if those things don't work for them and everything else. So that's kind of how that's kind of why it's not particularly good, and it doesn't particularly go. You know, it doesn't particularly help. There is no great answer for those sorts of things, if we're being honest.